Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. You know what I love about the new intro? It's not that it's that new anymore, but I love how that T just kind of pops up there and then waits for the rest of the letters to catch up to it.
I was so mad at that. And then after watching it, like after the 30th time of like editing, I was like, I kind of like it now. And I'd miss it if it was gone.
Well, I still think it looks great. So thanks for that one there, Muggy. And also, welcome to the show, Beran.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, no worries, man. We met up at the Faithless Forum there.
Yes.
Which was a great weekend, by the way.
Oh yes, that was an experience. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Were you around for the karaoke?
Yes, I was. Yes.
That was a lot of fun too.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe Hector Garcia pulled off that Sabbath song. I was like, holy shit, there we go.
Oh, I know. That was a fun time. I really enjoyed having the chance to talk to people and just have some fun.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great,
I like Neil's
rendition
of ABBA.
Yeah, no, I didn't do ABBA.
If you guys were there, you remember it. Yep. Because I too was there.
No, you weren't. I wanted you to be there, but you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. That's why I booked vacation time, my friend. That's why.
I got married. I didn't have any left.
I know.
I used it all up.
The old "I got married" excuse.
If I say that next year, then you definitely got me. It's like, all right, motherfucker, you got married last year.
Yeah, but now I have kids. Oh shit.
We got divorced the day before our anniversary to get remarried, so we could go on another cruise.
All right. Well, anyways, now that the bullshit's over with, Beran, you know what I do here? I chat with folks about their journeys away from whatever belief system or faith they were once a part of. So basically what I ask is I tell people to sort of take us back to those days when you were involved and how that was and how you sort of found your way out of it. Like, little dominoes that started falling and led you to be going, yeah, you know what? I don't believe this crap anymore. Because you got quite the story. You were telling me you were going to be a missionary at one time. So
yeah. So I was born into a nominal Lutheran family. Didn't really go to church and such. That changed all when my mom had a heart attack at the age of 39. I was 4, and it was a type of heart attack that basically no one survives from, but she somehow did. And the way she viewed that was God's wake-up call in her life. So she became a devout Jesus follower and started taking me to church. And at 4 years old, I was not exactly the happiest camper to have to sit still for hour and a half or whatever it was. So my mom,
not at that age.
So the way my mom bribed me was if I sat still in church, we'd go to watch a live wait at train tracks and watch a train go by because I was in my train phase. So anyway,
I loved trains when I was little.
So anyway, that aside, I didn't know what to think of it. I thought it sounded like Santa fairy tale type stuff at that point. I didn't really believe it. Around that time, my dad was a severe alcoholic abuser, that type. So she divorced him, moved to a small town in rural Nebraska, where she met her current husband and my dad, who I love greatly. He's a great dad. They're both great.
That's good.
But anyway, we started attending a Lutheran church there. The Lutheran church we actually attended was founded by his, several greats' grandparents. It was established in the 1800s, so we started attending there.
Wow.
And
some history on that one, I guess. Eh?
Oh, yeah. So from there, their adult Sunday school class started playing the infamous Kent Hovind Creation Science series, and my parents liked that, and they bought the entire set. And I was the curious, inquisitive type, and I watched all of them. And I was about 7 or 8 at this time. And I sat through all this entire hours-long series of a guy talking. I liked knowledge. Unfortunately, this was not good knowledge to have, but Hovind convinced me that it was all real. And so I gave my life to Jesus. I don't know exactly when. I don't remember an exact day.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Hovind, holy shit, Hovind.
Oh yeah, that was some deprogramming that took a very long time. So anyway, from there it was off to the races. I got introduced to a missionary in my Lutheran grade school, and I decided I wanted to be like him. I wanted to, go across the world converting people for Jesus and all this stuff. Not too long after that, our church sold copies of the Book of Concord, and I was one like, well, hey, and the Book of Concord, for those who are not aware, is basically the doctrines of the Lutheran Church. Nobody in the Lutheran Church reads it anymore. It's just what they espouse without actually reading the thing.
I thought that was a kind of grape juice.
That too. That's what we used later for communion.
Kings and Flights, I think.
Yes. So we started actually reading that and found out that was a whole bunch of crazy in the Book of Concord. So we left Lutheranism and just became like fundamentalist, evangelical, that kind of thing. I started attending just a non-denominational Christian school. Nothing really exciting until I was in high school. I got introduced to the world of apologetics by my youth pastor. And I can give him a lot of credit for being a great guy. He told us to challenge what we believe. Said it's okay to have doubts. There's reasons for the faith and all that. And again, being the intellectual type, I dived right into that and loved it. And we took mission trips to Boulder, Colorado, Salt Lake City, in Berkeley, California, to like expose ourselves to different types of worldviews and see how our faith stacked up. And when you're armed with apologetics and like completely in this stuff, it seems like your beliefs hold up well compared to other beliefs. And through that, I decided I wanted to become a missionary to Utah. I wanted to move to Utah and convert Mormons to regular Christianity. And I was on that for several years. So then as a good Christian boy, I went to a Christian college, studied theology, and I didn't know it then. That's when it started falling apart. And like, I did not recognize it for several years that's when it started falling apart for me. It took my Bible professors about 2 years to get my head out of the Kent Hovind stuff. They slowly showed me other biblical scholars and like, yeah, he's not the greatest guy to follow. Here's real biblical scholars. And I think I ditched biblical inerrancy by sophomore or junior year. It's just like, well, the Bible obviously says the earth is flat and has a dome and all this stuff. So like the Bible is accurate in that thing. So I went with infallible. The Bible is accurate with spiritual stuff. And just kind of went along with that happy route for a while. Found my wife at college. We got married the month after graduation. And let's see, from there, it was just kind of life for about a year. She went on to seminary to get her master's in counseling. I actually started with Ratio Christi. I started with a group that starts apologetics groups on college campuses. Only lasted a couple months in there. I didn't have the drive to do the things I needed to start groups. And that was just that. So I got a job at Coors here in Colorado. And that was my first real exposure outside of my bubble to people who weren't Christian. Weirdly enough, like I had been in Christian bubbles my whole life. Go ahead. Okay, sorry. And I think it was within my first week, my supervisor, it just came up like what I believed, and I'm like, oh, I'm a Christian, and he's like, oh, I'm an atheist, and my wife is a witch, and I'm like, my mind is blown. Like I'd never met a real life atheist before. My idea of atheists was Kevin Sorbo from God's Not Dead.
I'm so sorry you had to watch that.
Oh yeah, Hercules.
So, and it kind of gets muddied after that. I don't know exactly when the processes started breaking down. I know by like sometime in early 2020, we had started going to an Anglican church. We were a pretty liberal Christian. It was pretty, we held a lot of this stuff loosely, and I was getting into more of the wackadoodle Christian stuff of like universalism. Like, I know all these good people, and like, how can they go to hell? And I honestly, as somebody who is very trained in apologetics, I felt embarrassed by that. Like, this is the simplest, most textbook doubt of, how can good people go to hell? But I was having it nonetheless, and like, I couldn't make it go away. And then 2020 happened, the pandemic and all that. My wife, late in the night one night, was confessed to me that she didn't know if she believed anymore. And remember, she was in seminary at this point.
Wow.
She was about a semester away from graduating. She did finish, and she's a counselor now. But anyway, that late night conversation, I was still a good Christian boy, and I'm panicking because I don't want my wife to go to hell. But through that conversation, I had to admit that I'd had doubts forever as well. Like, even back in high school when I was deep into apologetics, I would go off in the weeds on my own and like try to think about the logic and all this stuff. And I noticed a lot of the flaws of apologetics back then, but I'm like, I can see this logic doesn't work, but I know this is true, so it must work somehow. Like, even if I don't know how it works.
Is that the way you kind of squared yourself up with it? Or?
Yeah, I just eventually ignored it because I couldn't come up with answers. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to believe this. And, even though I think that apologetics is good and useful, I'm just going to believe it. But anyway, in that conversation, I started admitting that I had some doubts as well. And basically for all of 2020, we just kind of stayed agnostic, and not agnostic about a God, but like agnostic about whether Christianity was true, just kind of living life. Then the 2020 election happened, and and through that, I somehow in my YouTube found Holy Kool-Aid's video about evangelicals freak out, and I just watched the absolute cult madness that was. And through that, I got introduced to the YouTube atheist community. I started watching some videos, and that was what got me thinking that, maybe none of this is true at all. Like, I really need to check into this. I think it was Genetically Modified Skeptic that really started getting me into that. But nevertheless, I didn't let atheist YouTube like influence my journey very much, because I'm like, I don't want to be accused of being led astray by a YouTube community. So I did my
YouTube.
Beginning of about January this year, I plowed headfirst because I'm like, I need to know if this is true. I need to get rededicated to Christianity if it's true, because if it's true, it's the most important thing. And after about a month of study and just very intense study, I was very afraid of going to hell. January 27th, I watched the Ken Ham Bill Nye debate, the infamous one.
Oh yes. Man.
And at that point, I had decided that, like, if Christianity is true at all, it has to be fundamentalism, because the academic Christianity that I was exposed to was just so relativist that you couldn't nail it down and objectively study it. It was just like, oh, this isn't true. Oh, you can be a Christian and believe in evolution. You can be a Christian and believe in old Earth. Like, all you have to have is Jesus.
Right.
And like, with that, you have no way of knowing anything in the Bible is true. You're just taking the spiritual parts on faith.
Convenient.
So I decided it has to be fundamentalism. Like, if the Bible can be trusted in areas of science and history and all this stuff, then I can trust it in the rest of it. And I'm like, okay, if Ken Ham brings up any good points, anything at all that makes me think that the Bible is somewhat reliable, I'll keep my journey going. And if he doesn't, I'm done. And at the end of it, obviously it was done. I mean, seeing Bill Nye and Ken Ham answer that question at the end about what would change their mind, and Bill Nye is like, literally give me anything.
Evidence. Evidence. Measurable, quantifiable evidence. That's all they want.
And Ken Ham said, like, no, I'm not changing my mind no matter what you say.
Nothing could change my mind.
Yeah, we can see who has the open mind here. And with that, I became an atheist that day, and
Thanks, Bill Nye.
Yes,
Got another one, Bill.
I wonder how Ken Ham feels. I've heard so many people say that debate was the end of Christianity for them. I wonder how he feels about that.
Then you were never really a Christian. They got the backup answer right in the tuck.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. That one has been
No true Scotsman, anyone?
Oh yeah. But yeah. So anyway, after that, I went through a period of about 6-7 months where I was very depressed and having existential crises, and just trying to find myself, because like literally everything I ever knew was ripped away from me. Like, even though I had gone away from it somewhat, like it was still my rock. It was still, everything I knew. And having that ripped away, I felt like I knew nothing but my name. And so just started learning from that. I did lean heavily into the atheist YouTube community after that to just help re-educate myself, familiarize myself with more of the arguments and all that. And then I impulse bought tickets to the Faithless Forum, and where we met. So.
Well, it sounds like you're fairly sort of recently deconverted, more or less.
Yes.
Do you still hold anything? Like, you still have a fear of hell?
No,
because a lot of people carry that with them. So.
I did for, I think it was maybe a couple weeks to a month after I deconverted. But to me, it was just like, and that was the other thing I guess I forgot to mention. Having studied Mormonism so much in high school, I knew exactly how false religions worked. I saw and how inculcation and a cult worked, as far as like, these people believe wackadoodle things, and you can show the logical contradictions, and it just goes right over their head. They don't care.
Right.
Or they hand wave it.
Yeah. And then at the beginning of my deconstruction, I realized, oh, I'm doing the exact same thing. And once I put those pieces together, it was so obvious that it was false that the fear of hell really didn't stick around, because it's like, it's exactly the same as every other religion.
Yeah. I often say a good way to, like, if you're a believer, ask yourself why you don't believe in any of the other gods that have ever been proposed.
Yeah.
And what reasons is it that you have for not believing in that specific deity and the other specific deities? And then apply that to why you believe in the one you believe in now.
Yeah.
Right? Apply those same types of questions.
Oh,
a lot of times it's tough to come up with answers that actually keep you believing. As I've had conversations with people like that have done that.
Right. And that was exactly what I found, is like, I knew how to apply tough tests to religions to see if they were true. I just realized that I was being a hypocrite, and that I treated the Bible completely differently, because like, oh, it's so obviously different,
Well, it is. I mean, if you think about their holy books, it's different from like the Vedas and it's different from the Quran even. But even though the Quran's still based on the same deity, really, but it's the latest version of it, I guess. But
iOS
but yeah,
update.
I mean, when you what's that?
The iOS update.
Yes.
I think you start to realize that all of these are just merely stories, and that's all they are. Like everything else, like all our old mythologies and stuff, the same thing. I know believers will probably go, no, that's all the other stuff's mythology. This stuff is true.
Got the real one over here, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's what kept me in so long, is like, I thought there was good evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. Like, I'm like, why would the disciples lie? Why would women be the first reported to see the tomb? And it's like, and then I learned the simple.
How many women?
Yeah. I learned the simple
differences.
Yeah. I mean, I learned the simple fallacy of, because you can't think of another explanation doesn't mean that the one you thought of is right,
So you weren't a Mormon, correct?
Correct.
Right. So P, that's why you didn't get the honorary magic underwear.
No, I did not. I was just very fascinated with Mormonism.
Then there's Tobin. It's a brief announcement. Boo!
Boo that man. Boo that man.
No true Mandalorian. I got the mask right over here, but I'm a Mandalorian. Or at least, see, I'm even wearing the t-shirt, for fuck's sakes.
Oh, nice.
I'm driving a Mandalorian.
Really? Is it
Oh, yeah.
consensual?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Sorry, we'll steer the conversation somewhere. Never mind. Just fucking stretching here now.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta use lube. Don't do it. That joke. Oh, that joke. Too beautiful to live.
So, Beran, when you say you kind of started going to, we'll call it YouTube University, because you know that's where you start seeing all those videos like GM Skeptic and Holy Kool-Aid and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Drew or GM Skeptic couldn't make Faithless Forum this year.
Yeah.
I got to see him on Thanksgiving, so we got to hang out and blaze a bit and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool over at Eric and V's place. Yeah, it was really nice. We had everyone was there. Like, well, not everyone, but a lot of the members of the whole Faithless Forum thing were all there and stuff like that. Okay. So it was a lot of fun. Which sort of like when you stumble upon that sort of that atheist YouTube thing going on there, did it sort of start bringing up more and more suggestions for you in the algorithm, stuff like that?
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, I got into the whole cosmic skeptic, genetically modified, obviously, Holy Kool-Aid, Pelagia. Can't think of the other ones. Rationality Rules, Aaron Ra. Aaron Ra, it was excellent because I was still somewhat programmed by Kent Hovind even after I was an atheist. Like literally, I still didn't know if I believed in evolution after I became an atheist. And Aaron really helped by breaking down all of those arguments from Hovind. I'm like, well, yep, okay.
Yeah, Aaron's got quite the history with Hovind. I mean, they go back and forth quite often, right? So,
oh yeah,
and he just fucking laughs. Like Aaron's pretty good guy.
He is.
I call him a good friend. Like, cause basically hung out with him all the entire time he was down there.
Yeah,
going for food and stuff like that, and getting drunk in the lobby with them and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I did that with him as well.
Did you see him? They bought that bottle of the hot sauce for him, like Eric and V did. It's called The End.
Yes,
7 million on the Scoville scale, which he didn't believe because he was already kind of cut and kind of been drinking. And he grabs the boy. He's like, 7 million? That's impossible. There's no peppers that are 7 million. And they're like, wait, aren't they? So he takes it. He starts drinking it. And he's got like this swig of it. And he's like, oh, this is hot. He's like, that's all you do. This is hot. And he had to sit down and shit because I thought he was going to stop breathing. And they're like, dude, it's got 3 of the hottest peppers in the world, and it's got capsaicin powder in it.
I'm about to say, and they hit it with a little dash of bear mace.
Yeah, they did. They laced it with extra capsaicin, which notches it up to the 7 million scale. And then we all kind of had little dabs of it on our pizza the following night, and he filmed the whole thing.
Yeah,
right? And then I saw that up there. It was pretty fucking funny.
Yes.
It's hot, man. I gotta tell you, it's hot. I felt that for a while after that. Because I and like an idiot, I'm like spreading it all over the pizza. I should have just put the little dab, and I'm eating the whole pizza, and I'm trying to eat it quickly.
Yeah.
And then so I paid for that the next day. I'll tell you that much.
Did you go through like your debate phase where like you would just watch like Christian atheist debates like nonstop?
Actually, after I became an atheist, yes. This was a bad habit of mine. I would stay up late in the night, just having existential crises, just watching these different atheist debates, and it was fun, and I could very quickly see that I can see who has the better arguments here.
Right.
I thought, I got this little tiny. I have this thing that I put my doobies in, right? I carry them around in this thing.
Okay.
And I also have this little tiny street epistemology sticker that I think will look really good on the top. What was your favorite thing about the Faithless Forum when you were there?
I think there were several favorite things. I will honestly tell you, the Faithless Forum, I was very much looking forward to it. I knew it was going to be great. And it blew my expectations so far out of the water. I was not expecting it to be that good.
Oh, wow.
But the thing
good.
I loved the most was just meeting so many like-minded people. I mean, I have my wife who deconverted, so I have her. But other than that, like, I just don't have friends around here who have deconverted. Like, I have secular people who are never Christian and, you know, just don't think about this stuff. And then, you know, I have my Christian friends. You know, I still have good Christian friends from college and such. And, you know, we just don't relate. And so it was amazing to just get around those same type of people who, you know, also love to think. They love thinking about philosophy and religion and all this stuff. And it was just amazing to see so many great people. And, you know, getting to, you know, sit in the lobby and have drinks with your favorite YouTubers is like, you know, for a deconvert, it's like meeting your favorite celebrities and just drinking with them. It's great, you know?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had some really good times down there in the lobby and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the food they made was actually pretty good. That little restaurant they had there was really
good.
And I quite like the buffet breakfasts that they had every morning.
Wait, they had that?
yeah, like $20 or $21, I think, US, and all you can eat fucking eggs and bacon and sausages and pancakes, or not pancakes, waffles. But I took a couple of the waffles the first day when I had breakfast with Prophet of Zod, and I'm eating them and I'm like, fuck, you know, I didn't need to put any fucking syrup on this, but then I wouldn't be Canadian if I didn't. But but they were so sweet already.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? This isn't a waffle. What the hell is this? It's
Welcome,
like sugar that's formed into a waffle.
Welcome to America. Everything that you think is food is actually just sugar. Sometimes it's salt, but it's just sugar.
Yeah. I mean, being in Texas for the first time was just a trip for me. It's like, I
love it there.
I drove in through Amarillo, and like one of the first billboards I saw in Amarillo was for like a 72-ounce steak. I'm like, why?
There you go.
You know?
Welcome.
Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a big steak while I was down there. And of course we did that. We did the one restaurant. I can't remember what the hell it's called, but it's something like dipping something or other, but it's fondue restaurant.
Okay.
Oh, the melting pot? The melting pot?
Melting pot. That's what it's called. Yeah. And there was a bunch of us there, like Zarke and Thomas and everyone that was there, and the other Thomas who was part of the background scene stuff. He paid for the entire thing. So they had 3 different cheese fondues to start with, like 3 different things, and then 3 different oils, like different flavored type oils, and then 3 different chocolate ones. And I was like, oh man, after that, I was just like, oh yeah.
Fondue is one of those meals that will slowly fill you with bread until you literally burst in the stall, like in your little seat. They will just fill you until you pop, and you'll do it voluntarily because it's 86 individual delicious mouthfuls, and I don't know how to say no to that.
I know, right? I love doing the fondue. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And they give you the rescue spoon too, which is basically just a giant spoon with the hole in it in case your shit falls in there and you can fish it out of there.
The rescue diver spoon.
Yeah.
Jumps out of the helicopter.
That's the selection. Like, you got a whole bunch of different fruits and cakes and stuff for the dessert one. All kinds of different breads and veggies and stuff for the fruit, or for the cheese ones. And then of course the 4 or 5 different kinds of meats you get to dump in there, or to dunk in the oil ones, which are it was amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah. I have a melting pot. It's a place I want to go sometime.
Bring your
It's
wallet.
not cheap. It's not cheap, but it's definitely worth the experience.
I would go once. Take the wife out on an anniversary or something like that. Just go one time and be like, I hope you really enjoyed that. Never again. That was $150 for 2 people.
The expensive restaurants that we used to like to go to when I was a little Japanese place called Suhiro's, and they were the ones that cook at your table, so they're chopping everything out, they're flipping fucking knives around, and I'm like doing this and shit. But yeah, that was a really cool experience too, and the food there was awesome. But it's expensive as well because you're paying for the entertainment of it all too, right? So
I had to, for melting pot, you have to pay to cook your own food.
Yeah. Well,
you're paying for the experience.
Yeah. Well, one of our favorites is a restaurant called Fogo de Chao. Have you?
Oh yes, Brazilian barbecue.
Yes, and
never heard of it.
It's just a steak buffet. They come around with skewers of steak and just put it on your plate. And
big freaking kebabs that they have holsters for on like these belt loops that they carry. So this dude's just walking around with like a rack of lamb, and this dude's
me too.
He's racking around. He's walking around with a rack of like filet mignon and all this, like everything's seasoned and cooked. Oh,
I don't even have any snacks in here. What the fuck?
Neil, this is the best part. You get a coaster, yeah? I'll use this.
You get a coaster.
You get a coaster, and it's got like a red light, green light, like fucking Squid Game.
Yeah.
And when you want more food, just flip it to green, and they're just gonna, every time they go around the dining room, they just offer you more and more sizzling, delicious meats. It is crazy. Also, it's
magical.
It's a magical place.
Where
dreams come true.
Sounds like the dim sum place we're going to be going. I'm going with my mom tomorrow.
Oh, they just red light, green light you, man, until you are full. Them in the melting pot got like a whole like human eating thing going here because they're probably just fattening us up. That's all that is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were lucky. We have Fogo de Chao like 15 minutes away from us, which is very dangerous, but very good.
Yeah.
Hell of a way to drain the wallet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But luckily mine's like an hour 15. So like it has to be a very special occasion or else, too far.
Yeah.
Or else I'd be Uber Eatsing Fogo de Chao and spending $200 on fucking steak trimmings.
I mean, that doesn't help me. I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to driving. I bought my car in May, and I have already put 14,000 miles on it because I just drive everywhere.
Wow.
You sound like you're from Chicago.
Nebraska, actually.
Yeah. So. Oh, well, then, everything's very spread out.
Yeah. Yeah, I drove 30 minutes each way to school, so.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That is
wow.
That's where I'm from. The closest town to us was 300 people.
That's it?
Yep, 300 people. And the town I went to high school in was 2,000 people.
That's a little better, I guess.
Yeah.
2,000 people in the fucking neighborhood I live in. And this is Canada.
Yeah.
I graduated with 1,000 freshmen in the freshman class.
Wow, my graduating class was 33. So.
Oh my God. That is...
I don't even want to say how many were in mine.
Oh, Neil, they didn't have a lot of schools back then. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
Plus, I was in Israel, and there was, let's see, 6 of us in the graduating class.
Wow.
Was it just the Israeli kids, or was it the Americans that were over there? Or
Americans? It was just
the Canadians
Americans / Canadians. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's not so bad.
Our graduate, I think it was 6 or 8 of us, or something like that. But yeah, but we had a hell of a party. That's for sure. More booze for everybody because it was just like 8 of us or 6 of us or what, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, it was awesome though.
Man, imagine having a high school graduation.
Right. I didn't know you graduated from high school while you were over there. I thought you did it while you were in Canada. Or I thought you were like there and came back or something. I don't know.
I did grade 11 and 12 over there. So yeah. Yeah, plus a little military and some other cool shit. And it's great because I got drunk a lot because they don't care how old you are over there. You can go down to the ice cream fucking parlor and drink.
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh yeah.
Going back in time.
Chow down some fucking ice cream and then pile back some fucking beers and British shandies or whatever the hell.
Oh,
which
man.
was, it was good. Really
Stumbled
back home.
Sounds like middle school all over again.
It's a great place. I didn't have my first drink of alcohol till my 21st birthday. So
And what was it?
it was an Irish coffee. Actually, this
Oh.
is a story. It's a story worth telling.
Mhm.
So my wife and I, well, she was my girlfriend at the time. We were in college. We went out. We had a favorite Irish pub that we'd go to, but of course we never drank at it because we were, Christian college students. And
Oh,
then
boy.
we went out to that on my birthday. I got an Irish coffee. I made sure to eat food and all the fun stuff, to make sure that it was okay.
A bottle of water, 6 aspirin.
Oh yeah.
Just preparing for the worst.
Yes. But I got like about this far into my Irish coffee and I blacked out on the floor.
What?
And she was like absolutely freaking out. Like, do I call an ambulance? And like just all this stuff. I came to, a minute or so later, and I didn't drink alcohol for a very long time after that, but I eventually did. I still don't know what happened. Like, I don't know if it was like just my nerves, like
Probably
alcohol before, or if it was roofied. Like it was similar symptoms to being roofied.
roofied.
So I don't know
Really?
why that would be or how, but like
I've
Who
been
the fuck's
roofied.
gonna
I've
Wow.
been roofied twice.
get out? Seriously?
Yeah.
wow.
Oh wow! I've
Don't-
never
don't-
been roofied.
Don't be the bulldog hanging out with your female friends because you might drink their beer on accident. Yeah. I was fucking body bagged. I had 2 Coors Lights and I couldn't even drive myself home.
Wow.
Oh boy!
That was when I was a fucking actual alcoholic. So I was like, what the fuck is I don't know what's going on, but I need to get out of here. Walked out on my tab. I was like, I didn't know what was happening. But yeah,
Oh shit! Did they get in touch with you and say, "Hey, you owe us money," or what?
it was only like the 2 beers. I think my friends probably just covered it.
Oh, more than likely. Oh yeah, I don't leave until you pay for your friend's fucking beer.
Yeah. Speaking of being former alcoholic, though, like, can we appreciate that the only time I was ever alcoholic was when I was Christian? Like, yeah.
Never consumed so much wine.
I live more Christianly now than I did as a Christian. So, yeah.
Weird how that works, eh?
Yeah. I mean, other than, doing a bunch of partying with some atheists out in Texas, but,
Yeah, but that was fun.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, that's all I need to have. It just needs to be fun, and then it doesn't count. Fair enough.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
keep that in mind going
Right.
forward.
Now you're getting it.
Yes,
As
exactly.
long as it's fun, we're straight.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I went to the one previous,
Okay.
the one back in 2019 that they did as well.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun, and that's when Drew and Thomas kind of took me aside and said, "Listen, man, we've been watching you, and we really like what you do, and yada yada." And I was like, "Really?" I had no idea. And they're like, yeah, we think what you're doing is great for the community. The way you platform all these people telling their stories, and we think it's a necessity because it needs to be done. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. That's why I do it, right? So also with the after parties, you introduce people to new other atheists that may not know, right? So,
Yeah.
and you expand that community, and you try your best to make sure you got good people in there doing that and stuff like that.
Just me and Swede, night after night, ruining it. And it humanizes atheists so that they're not these demon worshiping, baby eating monsters. It's just, they're talking about comic books a lot. I think they might be nerds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Many of us are.
And the geek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
The geek. Is that what it was supposed to say? Someone made a typo.
Yep.
No,
Common misspelling.
It's kind of funny, also a bit sad, but like, ever since my deconversion, like I still study a ton. Like I study Christianity more than I did as a Christian, and I literally have a degree in theology. And
cool.
it's funny because my mom thinks like that all my studies are going to lead me back to God someday. And it's like, the more I study, the more crazy it all seems. Like, how did I ever believe this stuff?
Yeah, Mom, it's kind of going the other way.
Right.
It's firming my non-belief or confirming my non-belief.
Right.
So when you do it now, you said you have a degree in theology. So I'm kind of wanting to know, what were your plans? You were going to become a missionary, right?
Yeah. So like I said, I was wanting to be a missionary in Utah, and that kind of took different paths. I think I stopped being so obsessed with that, like maybe my junior year in college. And like I mentioned, I started with Ratio Christi. And after that, I just didn't really know what my plans would be, because I had applied to like different ministries and stuff. I think one of my biggest problems was like, I didn't want to be a pastor, because like, as much as I loved exegeting the Bible and like trying to figure out what the Bible actually said, like, I didn't want to have to deal with people's baggage in the church. I just didn't want to deal with that.
I hear that.
Beyond that, I was like, again, Christianity is important, and if hell is real, the most important thing is getting people aware of that and convincing them that it's real. So I'm like, if I'm just talking to people in a church, I'm not doing my job as a Christian, like trying to convert people. So I wanted to do something outside of the church. But then my problem there was like, I had gotten extremely uncomfortable with the idea of like raising support, because I had heard so much from different ministry people that it's like, your donors will judge you if you go out for pizza. Are you spending my money well? And like, if you're just living off donations and trying to, bring people to Jesus, it can get tough that way. So I decided,
how else are you supposed to pay for the Coke and hookers? I mean, come on.
Right.
Hookers and blue ain't gonna pay for themselves.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was kind of I didn't know where I was going to go with that, because I didn't want to accept money from outsiders. I didn't want to be in a church. So that's why I went to a beer can manufacturing plant and just like kind of hung out there until I figured out what I was going to do. And lo and behold, that was my mistake in trying to stay Christian, one of the mistakes.
You went where all those damn heathens work.
Yeah. No, it's funny. The guy who trained me on the first day, we became best friends. He was an atheist, but I didn't even know it until like.
It's not like they walk around going, "I'm an atheist."
No,
unless it comes up in conversation, sure. But.
Yeah, he knew I was Christian, but he just never really said anything about his beliefs. It was kind of funny though, the way he was like so non-judgmental. Like after I deconverted, like I was pretty much a sad sack for a while, and like he noticed and he was like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I told him, like I found out Christianity isn't true, and like, I'm just trying to figure out how to cope with that. And he's like, why would you want to look into that? Like, why did you look into why it was wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I just started pulling on loose threads,
I couldn't help but pick that one thread, and oh no, 2 threads. Oh, so many threads.
No, I'm not wearing anything. If you want to, what was it?
Q sweater song. I was
sweater
about
song.
to say that.
Destroy my sweater. Whoa.
Hold this thread as I walk away.
As I walk away. That's a great song.
I'm uncultured, so I don't know.
It's Weezer. It's Weezer. No one likes them our age.
Okay.
People just
what?
pretend
I like Weezer.
Yeah. Our age. There. I'm just saying. Ooh, you. I look just like Buddy Holly. Yeah, it goes hard at the party, but I don't know the rest of the album because it wasn't good. I didn't like it.
That's okay. You don't have to like everything, Mikey. Jeez, you don't have to be sorry either. We all have our tastes, right? So
I'm a bad person.
Right.
It's the wonderful thing about being atheist. We don't have to judge people anymore.
That's right. Oh no, he knows I'm judging him.
Neil pulls out the robe and the gavel. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I don't. Do I have a gavel? I used to have a gavel. Well, I think I was using that pipe that the big wooden pipe that kind of looked like a gavel. So I was using that thing. Except the end flew off all the time. So I gotta fix that problem. I still need to get a screen for that fucking thing.
Oh, for the pipe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been into. It's funny because I was down in Texas. It's like I had this one day where it didn't matter what I wanted, I couldn't find it or get it or whatever. Like right off the bat, it's like, oh, we're gonna go over to Starbucks and grab a little breakfast sandwich and some coffee. And I go in there and I'm like, oh, I'll take one of those plain bagels and you toast it up and put a little butter and cream cheese on there for me. And they're like,
butter.
We don't have any butter and we don't have any cream cheese. I'm like, okay, all right, scratch that. I'll take a couple of those breakfast sandwiches. We're out of the breakfast sandwiches. Okay, fuck it, just give me a mocha. I'll find food elsewhere. So, and then we went to McDonald's and they weren't serving breakfast anymore. And I was like, God damn it! So I ate fucking cheeseburgers for breakfast. Like, what the hell?
Hell yeah!
But yeah,
like an American.
Right.
they sat in my belly like gut bombs for a little while, but
yes.
And then I had to. It was time to take my pill, because I take these lovely pills now. And I had nothing. I didn't have nothing to drink or nothing, so I went to this one place. I went to Little Caesars. I think they were open. I see the guys in there, and I go, "Hey guys, I can grab a bottle of pop." I was supposed to grab one for Steve as well because he wanted some too. And they're like, "Oh, well, we can't sell you anything." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, we have." Computer power is down right now. Like, what the hell? So I go down to this little CBD shop that's right around the corner. I go in there and I go, oh, fuck yeah, look at that. Oh, well, first we were at the gun range and their pop machine was broken, so I couldn't even use that, or it was out of order or whatever.
Right.
And I went to the CBD shop and the guy, I started walking over towards, I see the drink machine there with shelves and stuff with drinks on it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to grab me some pop. He goes, yeah, doesn't work. It's going to be totally warm. I'm like, Grr. He goes, I got some bottled water. You wanted some bottled water? I'm like, sure. So, he ended up giving me a bottle of water for free. Didn't charge me anything, which was great. So I got my bottle of water, but I couldn't bring one back for Steve. So
sorry, Steve.
It was really, really funny watching Zara K shoot guns. She's so tiny.
Amen.
I'm like, yep, nope, I'm not pissing her off. She had a great aim.
A certain set of skills.
Yeah. I didn't shoot any that day because I've already shot tons of them when I lived in Israel. So all kinds of different guns over there. Kalashnikov, M16s, Uzis.
Wow.
Their version of an Uzi over there. Their version of a M16, which I think they called Galil. They make modifications to everything the U.S. gives them. They take it and they make it better.
Yeah, it's nice to have that extra funding to do that when someone else is buying the base model, and then you just put some go fast fins
upgrades.
You get to upgrade something. Whatever, that's fair to someone.
A lot of fun over there though, driving in a tank and stuff like that. Lost my virginity in that tank, man. Fuck, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Not too many people could say that.
Nope.
It's all excited.
Joy. I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is something you would tell past Christian you from you now?
Get out.
Yeah. Whether it's get out or follow your intuition, you're not crazy. Like, what would you tell past you if they were having doubts about when they were having doubts about their Christianity?
Bree, hi Bree.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is when I was noticing all those logical fallacies in high school, like I was millimeters away from figuring it out back then. It was just too ingrained in me to, to actually lean into those doubts. I'd tell myself, like, lean into those logical fallacies. The logic works. Your reasoning is right. Like, just think a little harder,
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think the biggest thing though is to just, keep learning, because, as much as I in some ways regret how much time I spent as a Christian, it was it was good that I stayed Christian as long as I did, because my life would not have gone well because of my parents. And I love them to death. They're great. They're great people. But you know, they would have pulled college funding. They wouldn't have, you know, they wouldn't have let me really do anything. So I'm glad I was self-supported by the time I came out. But yeah, just keep following your intuitions. And one thing I'd love is just to like meet 16-year-old me and like, you know, have him try to convert me.
If I met 16-year-old me, I would fight that little shit. I would.
Me too.
God, he was such a dick. I hated that kid.
Same here. I was the kid that I did competitive speech in high school.
Oh yeah, speech team.
Yes.
Oh,
My persuasive speech, I don't remember if it was junior or senior year. My persuasive speech was on the reliability of the Gospels. So yeah.
You'd have to wait in line. There would be a couple kids trying to fight you. Oh
yeah.
It's weird because like when you're at that age, it's like, I thought about this for 10 seconds. This is the logical outcome. Stupid everyone else. Why hasn't everyone else figured this out yet? It's so obvious if you think about it for 2 seconds. And
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be Jesus. How do you stop that though?
yeah,
Jerry, good to see you, bud.
I thought he was singing that to the tune of Bohemian Rhapsody.
I suppose you could.
I that's what I was trying to line it up with. I was like, oh, that's not right. Oh wait, maybe there's another song. See, you think about things for more than a second, as opposed to our teenage selves, where someone told me this. They're older than me, so obviously they've thought about it for a long time too. So I don't even have to think about it. I can just listen to what other people are telling me. Why think?
Yeah, that's not the way we thought back then.
I mean,
in the Christian, with like for the Christians thoughts and stuff like that, when I couldn't find the answer to something, Kent Hovind DVD was perfect because he would just fill in all the shit that you didn't figure out yet.
Oh yeah, I remember that age. Like again, I thought I had everything figured out, but like I idolized people like William Lane Craig, and
yikes.
Yeah, no, it was funny though, because the same weekend as Faithless Forum was, Biola University had an apologetics conference north of Dallas. So, and their first night was the night before Faithless Forum started. So I bought tickets and went. And so I got to see William Lane Craig, Gary Habermas, and Jay Warner Wallace speak live. I got to see them spew their bullshit in person. It was so bad. Like,
do you have to take a shower after?
Not clean.
The difference in the mood of those two conferences, though, was so telling. Because, like, basically they got up on stage and said, like, we know why you don't know why you believe. We're going to give you some good reasons as to why you believe. And then Faithless Forum, we didn't even have to talk about why we believe, because we all know exactly why we believe what we believe. But my story I was actually going to tell there is when William Lane Craig was done with his speech, he had time for a short amount of time for questions, and I was one of the lucky ones that got to ask him a question.
Ooh,
nice.
He went through the teleological argument and he was saying that I know. No, he was like, either the universe is just this way by brute fact, it had to be fine-tuned for life, but we know that's probably not it, because like there's so many other ways the universe could have turned out, so it probably isn't brute fact, and the only other option is the multiverse or God, and there's absolutely no evidence that it was the multiverse, so therefore God. And so the question I asked the question I asked is like, well, there's no positive evidence for the multiverse. Couldn't one just say that there's no positive evidence that God did it either? And he's like, he's like, oh yeah, but there are a ton of other apologetic arguments for God's existence. There is other evidence. And it's like, so you admitted.
I'm sorry. Let me move this goalpost real quick. It's in the way. Just move that over. There we go.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't think he noticed it, and certainly nobody in the audience noticed it, but
Yeah.
I literally got William Lane Craig to admit that the teleological argument doesn't prove God in any way.
Got him.
Like,
Awesome.
but anyway, just the difference between those two conferences. And the fact that I used to idolize that dude, now I can see how full of shit he is.
Yeah, oh, and he is. Although, to his credit, from people that I know that have met him, say he's actually quite a lovely guy. Like outside of that, apparently he's a super chill dude, and you can chat with him, and he'll leave all that stuff away if you're not believer, and he'll just talk about other stuff. And apparently he's quite nice.
Yeah.
Not that I care. I really don't want to. I was just going to highlight that one. Question for Beran: how do you sleep at night without Christianity? Quite soundly, actually.
For the first couple weeks, terribly, because I was just stressing and everything was horrible. Now it's like a baby. It is so wonderful. I major. I would stay up late at night begging God to save me from hell if I wasn't already, because who knew if all the other billion times I did it took. But I don't have to worry about that anymore. I sleep like a baby. So
yep. That's that meme with the little duckling that's asleep says, me sleeping, this is how I sleep, knowing I'm burning in hell in every religion or something like that. Just a little baby duckling sleeping there. Which is too funny.
I recently got a pair of socks that are bright orange and flames, and it says "going to hell in every religion."
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Well, what do you say we wrap this up and get into an after party? Because we're closing in on an hour right now, and
absolutely.
And I think we covered everything pretty good. Is there any advice you might give to anyone who might be tuning in that is sort of on the fence right now? What kind of advice would you give somebody like that?
The thing I would say is trust your instincts. If you're seeing stuff that is not lining up, lean into it, look into it. And one of the big things that I told myself during my deconversion, and I was honest with, the person I thought I was God. I'm like, this stuff doesn't seem right. And I'm trusting you that if I'm going down the wrong path, please bring me back. Please show me the right path. And, he never said boo, and even the day I became an atheist, I told him God, that this isn't rebellion. You just know I can't believe this anymore. If you want to show me your existence, you know right where to find me.
You know exactly what it would take too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would say is if you're going down the wrong path, wouldn't an all-loving God correct you? And even the Bible says that he would. Jesus says that God will bring back the lost sheep. And I've been out for close to a year now. I have not felt a damn thing.
So none sheep.
Yeah.
Not a sheep, no sheep.
Yeah.
You don't have your goddar tuned correctly.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way too, because I was born to Christians. I was given birth and entered this world thanks to Christians who screwed around in the back of a 57 Chevy. And then
like good Christians.
Which is cool. Like good Christians do, yeah. And then I was given up for adoption because they were actually Catholic and very staunch Catholics. So that was a big no-no, having children out of wedlock. So I was given up for adoption and raised by Jewish people, which is apparently, if Christianity is the right choice, why did that happen? God.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Oh,
it's a test. He's testing you. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. If he was testing me, I failed. Sorry.
Oh, Derek, a wizard's never late. He shows up when he's supposed to.
Precisely when it means to.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And thank you for the super chat, Derek. And besides, I think the one thing that blew it open for me, and I've said this many times, is the whole, if God knows everything, if he's all-knowing, then he knew ahead of time that Adam and Eve were going to fall in the garden to create the original sin. So it's a setup. The entire thing is a setup.
Yeah.
The inside man.
He knew that the snake or Satan or whatever the fuck you want to call him was going to be there and swindle them into eating that fruit. And yeah. It's a setup, folks. And if you don't realize that, then you're just dumb. That's all I can tell you. Okay, you're not dumb. You're just misguided. We'll put it that way. BFA. Jenna, one of my favorite humans. All right, well, let's wrap this shit up and get into the after party. If any guys out there in the chat would like to join us for the after party, just let myself or Mikey know, and we'll send you a link, and you can hop in there with us. Yes, but tons of mice. One day, Neil will pop God's eye out.
The eye of God.
It's coming, God. It's coming. Yeah,
Watch your back.
Yeah. It's coming. Anyway, I'd have to have bigger thumbs, I think, because I'm pretty sure he's huge, if he's real. Listen to me. Shut up, Neil. Just end the fucking show. All right.
Morphizing God.
I know, right? I know. How dare I? All right. Anyway, let's get the hell out of here. Thanks everyone in the chat for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Thank you for the super chat, Derek. That was awesome. All the chats over on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. Although they don't really have a chat for the Twitter one, but people can leave comments because it has happened in the past. There's evidence of it. Unlike God. Sorry. Where the hell was it? Oh, and my patrons. You guys are awesome, and without you, my show wouldn't be here. So thank you all for what you do for the show. Big hearts to all of you. I really appreciate it. And don't forget the Randolph and I, actually, it's coming soon now. We'll be doing that call-in show, True North Talk. The studio is almost done. So if you want to learn more, head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca, and you can get all the links there and give us a follow, and you won't miss when we launch the first show. And also myself and many other awesome, great people, like Mikey's been on, Jenna who's in the chat there, and just too many people to mention, and my memory isn't that great. So it's called The Nonprofits. You've heard of it. It's one of the ACA shows. It airs Sunday between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience at 3 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Pacific if you're me. And and the last Saturday of every month, and I think it's kicking in at the end of December again here. Myself and Andy and Seamus get together for a little fun show we do for a couple hours on the last Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. called Atheist Drinking Out Loud. And it's over on Andy's channel. His channel is called Laughing in Disbelief. If you aren't subbed to him, definitely go sub to him. He's got a lot of fun stuff that goes on that channel. All right, that's about it, I guess. One more hashtag coins. That's our drinking game, by the way, Beran.
Okay.
Whenever you hear the Mario coin noise that my phone makes all the time when I get notifications, and I get lots, then everyone drinks. You take a drink when you hear the coins.
Holly, man.
All right, let's get out of here, folks. And then, like I always say at the end of this, first of all, thanks, Beran, for being the guest of honor tonight.
Of course.
And we'll all hang out a little more in the after party. My pleasure. And like I always say at the end of the interviews, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time. Untangle